Good morning, everybody. Friday in Santa Fe, a beautiful day. I'm looking out the window. The sun is beautiful. The sky is blue, and there's some clouds up there. We've had some rain. We've had some wind, and we're up for a beautiful weekend. So when you go out this weekend, remember to put on your face covering. Wash your hands before you go out. Wash your hands when you come in. Use hand sanitizer. Practice social distancing. We're still experiencing an uptick in our COVID-19 cases, and as the governor said yesterday in her press conference, August is the month when we either make it or we fall short, and we have got to get our COVID-19 rate down. We've got to bend the curve. We've got to flatten the curve. We know from the data that there are two zip codes in town that are really the most difficult, challenging ones where we're seeing the spike go up, 87507, 87505. If you live in either one of those zip codes or have family, friends, you have folks you work with who live in that zip code, remind them this is the time to be super careful. Be very alert. This is the time to practice social distancing. This is the time to wear a face cover. It's increasingly become clear through medical science that a face covering not only protects the people you love, it helps protect you. We have material on the Santa Fe Promise in English and in Spanish. So if you're interested, let the mayor's office know. We'll get you a poster that says Safe, Open, Together. We've got cards you can give out, Safe, Open, Together. We've got a button that you can wear, Safe, Open, Together. I made a little brief presentation to some of the mayors around the state yesterday as part of the mayor's council advising the governor. We gave them all of our material on the Santa Fe Promise. I'm hoping we'll see cities across all of New Mexico adopt the same language, the same promise. They can take our beautiful logo and put their town or city name smack in the middle and use the same material and make sure that here in New Mexico we lead the way of bending the curve back down. We knew it was going to go up when we opened up. It went up. We got to bring it back down. And August is our challenge month. Let's get it done. Let's do the right thing. If you have friends, it's going to be a beautiful weekend with kids. They want to go out and play. Great. Practice social distancing. Wear a face cover. Wash your hands. Do the right thing to bring that curve back down. I'll come back to that later, but there's a lot of good stuff to talk about today. I want to share with you because it's not all COVID-19 all the time. We got a lot of good things happening in Santa Fe. We should celebrate them. We should help them. We should promote them. We should contribute, and we should participate. Classic example, the Battle of the Badges. The Battle of the Badges is our police department and our fire department in a blood drive. Starts today at noon, runs till 4:30 over at Santa Fe Place Mall. Pick it up again tomorrow, 12 o'clock. We'll see who can get the most blood donors contributing right now to really fill up our blood drive tank so there's enough to go around. So if you want to participate, go over to the Santa Fe Place Mall, 12 to 4:30. You'll have police, you'll have fire, community-minded public safety people. Give blood, keep Santa Fe safe. Another big thing that's about to kick off, the Indian market, our iconic Indian market. I believe we're tiptoeing up to the 100th anniversary. I think this is year 98, 99. And this year it's going to be different. It's going to go virtual. It'll be global. It'll be virtual. It'll be online. 450 artists with their great work available. It'll be Santa Fe virtual. So check it out. Support the market. Support the artists. It'll keep Santa Fe in people's minds. Even if they can't come here this year, we'll be keeping the market going. We'll be showing that there's a new way to tap into the great artwork, the great culture, the beautiful work that's done by Native American artists, usually right here in Santa Fe. a spot where people come in order to participate. The joy not only of supporting the artists, but seeing old friends, being able to hang out with the artists, talk to them about how they're doing. This year, virtual, we can still support it, we can grow it, we can build it, keep it going, show them the love, buy a little something, buy a big something. The work is the best in the world. The Indian market's the best in the world. Let's give them a big boost as they go virtual. And we'll have more virtual markets this year. Our other markets as well. We'll be looking to our support to move on to the platform of the web, where it's global and it's always on. So maybe there's a chance they'll see even a greater level of support for all those amazing artists. It'll still say Santa Fe Indian Market, so we're proud to be their host and their friend. Also continuing is the fundraiser for our friends at the Children's Museum. This is a very, very high class face covering. You put it on and it comes up over your nose and mouth. It's also, if you're chilly, you can use it as a neck warmer. It slices, it dices. No, it doesn't do any of those things. It's just a way to support the Children's Museum with financial support. So it's their 35th anniversary. They're asking people to do things in units of 35, commit to walk 35 miles, read 35 books, contribute $3,500, whatever it takes. Let's help the Children's Museum get their work done. Also kicking off is the Mayor's Challenge. Cities across the country are being challenged to step up with being water wise. This is our time to conserve water and to show that Santa Fe is the leading city in the country for water conservation. The challenge has built-in components with online conservation pledges. You can find it on the web. Wyland National Mayor's Challenge for Water Conservation. It's sponsored by a number of partners, including the Toro Company, Toyota, National League of Cities, and more. Santa Fe, we know how to conserve water better than anybody in the country. So let's go out and win this challenge. Let's bring home the water championship into Santa Fe. Another thing that we can all be proud of, a news item that flashed across the screen earlier this week. New Mexico leading the nation as renewables will replace the coal-fired San Juan generating station. This is a big deal. This is part of our state and our community stepping up to recognize that climate change is still an existential threat for our children, our grandchildren, our planet. If we want to save planet Earth, and remember, there is no planet B, there is only this one. We've got to step up and do things like get rid of the San Juan generating station and substitute renewables, going all in for a green future. Santa Fe has a local Green New Deal and a sustainability plan, something we can all be proud of. We continue to try to find ways to conserve energy. That's the cheapest form of new energy, is just not to use it in the first place. But when we do need energy, we need it to be renewable. This is a huge step forward. So another thing we can all feel good about as we look at the state continuing to lead the way, making a difference. Some other pieces of good news, big news. I guess the biggest news this week for the city of Santa Fe was the budget was adopted by the governing body. It is both a budget that is smaller than last year because our revenues are down, but it's also more creative. We didn't just cut the budget, we reimagined city government. We looked at ways to do more with less money. Something I think is worth mentioning and worth celebrating: no layoffs, no pay cuts, no furloughs. And that's something we're trying very hard to maintain. We'll be monitoring the budget month by month to see how revenues do. The front page of the paper today, not encouraging nationally a huge financial fall off. Here in Santa Fe, we're trying to level that out too. So if you're interested and this is a beautiful weekend and you have a face covering, there are more than 80 restaurants in Santa Fe that have outdoor dining opportunities. Our land use department, our tourism department, our Department of Economic Development, and our city clerk's office have been working very hard to make it possible for any restaurant that wants to shift from indoor to outdoor dining has a chance to do that. And in fact, right now, our tourism director, Randy Randall, is working with the state on creating an app that will be a guide to the outdoor dining opportunities in Santa Fe, kind of like the Margarita Trail. You eat at 10 restaurants outside, you get a credit for it, you get a punch on your virtual punch card, and after that, you get a reward. We want to keep those restaurants safe and open. That's why the face covering is so important. We want to keep those workers working safely. We want to keep those paychecks happening. The federal government is about to fall apart on the paycheck protection money that many families have needed to keep their rent payments going, their food payments going, their kids safe, healthy, fed. As that goes away, it's up to us to support all of our local restaurants, all of our local shops, all of our local stores. Buy local, but do it safe. I go back to the language of the Santa Fe Promise: safe, open, together. If we're safe, we can be open, and we do it together. It keeps people employed. It keeps people with a paycheck. It keeps our city moving. The budget, the other thing that was really worth mentioning about the budget, we had a very long and very, very important period of time for public input. We heard from 30, 35, 40 people who took time from their lives to come in front of the governing body and talk about their concerns about the city budget. A lot of it had to do with public safety and policing and Black Lives Matter and the movement in America right now, the time we're taking as a country to reflect on racism and social justice. There was the funeral yesterday for Congressman John Lewis. Former presidents spoke, President Obama, President Bush, President Clinton, all talking about the need for social and racial justice in America, the need to hit the pause button for a minute or longer and really reflect on equality and the journey toward freedom for everybody in this country. I want to say thank you to all the people who came in front of the governing body and gave us their time and their passion and their deep thought about how we can make Santa Fe a more just community that is fair and respects everyone. And I want to thank them for their time, their passion, their love for the city, and I want them to know how much I respect their input. They're calling us to be better in all of these areas, to rise up and do a better job, to take care of each other in an ongoing way, to show respect, dignity, freedom, equality, equity, inclusivity for everybody who lives in our community. And that's something we're committed to do, to work on, and to pursue on behalf of the entire city. So thank you for your participation. Thank you for your voices. Thank you for coming in front of the governing body to remind us of our responsibilities to everybody in our community. And to the governing body, it was a unanimous vote. It was a vote of confidence in the city management, in the administration. It was a vote of confidence in the department heads who worked so hard to get that budget prepared. You know, in February, we were very close to having the budget completely finished, and it was an expansive budget. We were in the middle of a boom where the government of Santa Fe, like the government of New Mexico, was really the beneficiary of a booming economy. We were going to invest across the board in new programs. And then with COVID-19, the economy fell off the cliff, and instead of an economy that was expanding, we ended up with something like $70 million in a revenue shortfall, $70 million less than we expected. We ended up having to make recommended cuts. We're going to be talking in the future about recommended reorganizational plans that will deliver better services, eliminate cracks between departments that problems fall into, close those gaps, be more efficient, deliver better service to you across the board using your tax dollars more effectively by a reorganization that is more professional, absolutely more modern, and more effective. But we're not talking about the reorganization in the budget. We're talking about programs and delivering services. And we addressed fundamental, essential services, delivering those to you every single day. A great big thank you to the people across the city who worked to put that budget together. What you see in a budget hearing is the tip of the iceberg. It's the departments producing their proposals. But below the waterline was all that work, months of work, to talk to residents, to get input, to talk to employees, to get input, and to work within the confines and the limitations of a $70 million shortfall. And yet we're able to do that with no layoffs, no furloughs, and no cuts to people's paychecks. We'll be monitoring it. I said it before, the budget is a process, not a plan. We'll look at it month by month to see what happens with our revenues, and hopefully we'll be able to see revenues gradually increase if we're safe, if we're open, if we do it together. On that front, I want to mention an opportunity that you should check out. Part of the way we break the back of COVID-19, of course, is through testing. Part of it is through preventative measures like face coverings, hand sanitizers, social distance. But a big part of the puzzle is contact tracing. And that means when somebody tests positive, how do we trace the people they've been around who might be affected by that positive exposure? There is an app called Novid, N-O-V-I-D. Novid is a free app, and it doesn't track any of your personal information. It simply tracks whether you're in the presence of somebody who also has downloaded the Novid app and may have tested positive. So it's a free way of everybody in our community tracking potential exposure to COVID-19. I've downloaded it on my smartphone. It's very simple, takes no time whatsoever, costs no money, and gives you a very simple interface. When you tap the button, it lights up and it tells you, oh, nobody near who's got COVID-19, you're okay. It uses a device that does not take your personal information whatsoever. It was done in conjunction with Carnegie Mellon, so it's got good, strong academic standing. I would encourage anyone who wants to help produce and provide more safety for all of us in Santa Fe to download Novid, N-O-V-I-D. It's free. The more people who download it, the more we'll be able to detect on behalf of ourselves and our family and each other whether anybody in our vicinity has a COVID-19 positive test. So check it out. Check out 87507, 87505 as our current hotspots. If you have friends or family in those zip codes, please advocate on their behalf. Tell them in English or in Spanish there is a way to bend the curve of COVID-19 and reduce the number of cases. The more we cut down on the cases on a day-to-day basis, the more likely we are to see our economy come back stronger and to see our schools reopen with a hybrid model after Labor Day. So please, it's up to us. It's up to us to show that kind of concern and consideration and compassion for everybody in our community. It boils down to respect. Respect for our friends, respect for our families, respect for each other. It's a simple enough thing to do. If we take it on, Santa Fe will once again lead New Mexico, and New Mexico will lead the nation as we bend the curve, flatten the curve for COVID-19. In the meantime, have a very fun weekend. Go give a little blood at the Battle of the Badges. Begin to check out the Indian market as it goes viral. Support, I'll hold it up one more time, support our friends at the Children's Museum as we think about ways to take care of our young people, our kids. School's going to be different this year. The Children's Museum is a great way to supplement their learning opportunities. Remember the Mayor's Challenge for water conservation, something we do naturally. Let's just take it up a notch and be even more aware of ways to conserve water. And if you have a chance to take part with one of our outdoor dining experiences, takeout works too, but on a beautiful day, find one of our restaurants that has set up an outdoor dining opportunity on a patio or in a parklet in front of the restaurant, making a little extra space. Give them a little business. Give them your thank you for serving us and keeping their people safe and open as we do it together. Till next week, have a beautiful weekend. Take care of each other. Take care of your family. Take care of our community. Take care of Santa Fe. I will see you next week.